Passion public service announcement. Passionate. Let me tell you something.
So what is this Passion PSA podcast? Who am I? Well, they call me Passion, short for passion no last necessary. Why is there no last name necessary? Because the first name says it all. I am Passion and all that embodies. What do I do here? I give you the life coaching that you know you need, but don't enroll yourself in. When did I start? Actually, 2017. I'd leave a PSA on my Instagram regarding something I'd observed, and now we've evolved to this. Why do I do it? Why not? If even one person is able to take away one thing that changes their life, someone else's life, or changes the world for the better, then I've done what I was charged to do. So come on in, sit and listen for a while. There's something here for everyone at the Passion PSA podcast.
Greetings and salutations, my beloved passionate newcomers, visitors, and guests. Welcome to another episode of the Passion PSA podcast, where I, Passion No Last Necessary, your Get You Right Guru, issue a weekly public service announcement about whatever I've observed or was on my mind. This is a for your consideration zone where the objective is to offer you a perspective you may not have previously considered, to both expand your thinking and for you to become a better version of yourself, for yourself, and for others. This is a safe space, but not necessarily a delicate one. I'll never rob you of your right to feel what you feel. The same way I won't sugarcoat the truth to make it more palatable. The goal is to get you to higher, more expanded thinking so you can operate as your highest and best self. Now, I want us to get back on track with our weekly ritual of affirmations. If you are new here, it is our usual practice to take about 60 seconds at the beginning of each episode to make affirmations. I know there have been a few episodes where we did not take our moment of affirmation, but we are back on it today. The intention is to ensure that regardless of what we discuss and how it may make you feel, we have intentionally started on the highest possible vibration and we are all on the same frequency. So let's shift the energy upward. Take a deep breath. You are always welcome to repeat after me or to use this time to state your own affirmations. I understand that faith without works is dead. I put in work. I realize that I get out what I put in. I make a valiant effort. I reap the rewards of my effort. My harvest is bountiful. My effort is appreciated. My effort is respected. My effort sets the tone for others. It is well. I am well. All is well. I am grateful. And I agree. Ashe, ashe, ashe. So Passionate, I'm on the phone with my sis, right? And we're talking about a show that she has coming up. And we're talking about the fact that after she has posted all of the vital information, all the 5 W's, the how, for people to attend the event, people then comment and text and call and DM asking for the vital information that she's already posted. Now, as a performing artist, I've had that experience all too often. You take the time to carefully outline all of the pertinent information. You can put it in your caption. You can write it on the actual post. You can make a video of the information. You can send out a text blast. There will always be one or several who will double tap your post. Then under the same post, ask you questions that were answered 3 lines previously. Now, a lot of people laugh when you bring these things up because they're guilty of it. They don't think it's a big deal, and they don't think if it's troublesome or problematic for you, that it should be. Instead, they think you should laugh off their behavior as you answer the question. Unless and until you're the artist, you can never really understand how irritating it can be to take the time to provide all of the necessary information only to have someone double back to you and ask you the information because they chose not to read it. Unless and until you're the one being impacted, you can't really understand the magnitude of the frustration. So let's do it for instance. Imagine trying to prepare for something that causes you a lot of anxiety. Imagine knowing your information, but fearing that you might forget something vital or that you might not deliver it the way it needs to be delivered. Imagine trying to go over everything to make sure that you have everything perfect. While you're trying to keep everything in order for your presentation, you also have to prepare your props. Now, maybe that's an outfit. Maybe it's a wig. Maybe it's an easel, a PowerPoint presentation. Who knows? Doesn't matter. Imagine trying to keep all of these things straight and then trying to make sure you have everything prepared to bring with you. And while you're navigating your own feelings and you're navigating the information that you have to keep straight, here comes this one messaging you via whatever medium to ask you information that is readily available to them. The goal. Now, I believe that I've told you once before about someone that I shared event information with, right? They looked at the information, they responded to me, and they said that they thought this was something of interest, something they would like to do. And then, a little while later, they're texting me to ask me what time the event was starting, and I kindly ignored them. And if I did tell you that story, I'm sure that I told you that it's not lost on me that somebody probably thinks that it's petty for me not to answer the question. But this all leads to the subject that we're talking about today, which is that there is laziness brought on by access, and too many of us are susceptible to or guilty of it. How many of your favorite artists can you DM to ask what time their concert is starting and expect a response in return? How many of you put it to the test? Because I can't tell you how many shows I've had where I've promoted for the show day in, day out for weeks or months in advance. And the day of the show, hours and even minutes before I'm supposed to go on stage, someone is texting me, asking me what time the show starts or where the venue is or is parking available or are there tickets at the door? Now, I know someone who's never been on stage may not see how intrusive this is, but anyone who's ever had to give a presentation in class, right, that they were nervous about, they wouldn't be amused if one of their classmates or several of their classmates started lighting up their phone right before they were supposed to give said presentation, asking them questions that they could easily source anywhere. And not only could they easily source this, but I want you to consider this part as well. Like, especially for me, I don't know about anybody else. Well, I do know about for other people, but I'm only speaking for myself today, right? Before I go on stage, there are a zillion things going through my mind. One of the things that I'm doing is going over my lines, right? I might be nervous about anything. The last thing I want to do is sit here and answer questions. I'm trying to remember the words to this poem, okay? I'm trying to remember my words to the script. I've been on stage and seen somebody drop an entire scene for the whole show to have to get started over because they dropped the scene, came in the middle of the scene. This is a true story. Came in the middle of the scene. The person that they were in the scene with had no idea what was going on. They were like trying to scramble, trying to meet them where they were. When the line started to come back to them, now they're trying to double back to the beginning of the show, but you've already said half of this scene. So now you're trying to double back to the beginning and then you're going to say the same lines over again like the audience is not going to pick that up. When you're distracted before the show, these are the things that happen. I get it. I get that the talent may be your only point of contact, right? But this is exactly why the work could and should be done in advance. Passioners, are you particular about what you put on your skin and what you put in your hair? If you're anything like me, you're very specific about the ingredients of the products that you're using. And my good sis, LaShondra, has a product that's probably perfect for you. She calls it LaShondra's Essentials Strengthening and Nourishing Hair and Body Oil. And she infuses actual herbs into the oil. Let me give you, I have my phone in my hand because the list of benefits of this product is so long. So I need to make sure that I tell you all of the things that it's good for. So if you have issues with eczema, psoriasis, alopecia, dermatitis, dry hair or scalp, dry skin, excess shedding and hair breakage, dark spots, brightening under eye circles, fading stretch marks, if you have burns or you have scars, this is the product for you, and it can be used as a massage oil or a beard oil. Now, I don't know how many products you have available to you that you can do all of that with, but I know for a fact that this product does that and more. I have used it. I stand by it. I am a fan of it. It takes only a drop. And the best part of this whole announcement is that my sis has been so gracious as to extend a 20% off offer for my passionates. And the code that you need to use is passionate for y'all. So head on over to her Etsy, etsy.com/shop/LaShandra's Essentials. You can use my discount code passionate for 20% off. If you did not want to go that route, you wanted to just go to the link below in the description box, do that, click the link, and the discount code is already applied as soon as you click the link. She also offers CMOS, so get into it. Go check out her site. Go check out her product, and thank me later. Let's get back to the episode. I had a friend who would always ask me how to get places. So he would ask me this with his phone in his hand. Siri wasn't busy. Google Maps was available. The Waze was a tap away. But he was asking me because I've already done the work that he could easily now do for himself. So going back to the person in the previous example, when I shared this with her and I told her this is a pet peeve of mine, like it gets on my nerves when people do this, it was amusing to her. She laughed and she was like, well, I mean, it's just easier to ask it. The concept of, well, you're right there does not supersede the reality that while this person is right there and accessible, that doesn't mean that that person is available to or interested in providing you data you could have provided for yourself, or that they're sitting around waiting to accommodate you, especially when you have access to the information. The reality is it's lazier. You don't want to do the work, so you want to shoot the work back to me and expect me to accommodate you. But now, if the shoe were on the other foot, and if we were working on, let's say, a team build, and I try to hand off the work that I was responsible for to you, no matter how menial or minimal the work is, you'd be annoyed that I wasn't doing my part. And instead, I tried to hand off my part to you. It's the same difference. When somebody already has a heap of responsibilities, ask yourself, how thoughtless is it to add another responsibility to them? Like, how revealing is it that you're double tapping posts and clearly don't even know what you're double tapping? So in theory, someone could be putting up a photo of kittens and the caption could be encouraging and praising devil worship, and you just double tap it because your attention is wherever it is. You handed the onus of making it clear and plain to someone else, and then when they make it clear and plain, you can't put up enough effort to retain the information, even if you see it daily. So much so that you now have to ask a person who's already provided you the information. And now, and often, you're asking them at the most inopportune times. That laziness takes a toll on the friend, and it takes a toll on the friendship. And then the disposition, wow, I'm trying to support you, okay? So if I'm asking you the time, you shouldn't have an attitude, okay? Rather, you should be grateful because I'm making an effort to know. That holds the same weight as your performing friend not doing well in the show and then justifying it by saying, well, I was distracted and I had too much on my mind because people kept texting me and harassing me before the show. You're not going to let that fly. If your interest is in supporting someone, your support should be well-rounded. Your support shouldn't be segmented. It shouldn't be, I'm going to support you, but only if you're catering to me. The reason I posed the question about your favorite artist is that, again, realistically, if your favorite artist is a megastar, the likelihood is that you will scour the internet for the information. You wouldn't dare slide in their DM to ask them what time the show starts and if there's parking in the area. You'd go to Ticketmaster. You'd go to the venue site. You'd go to their website. You'd go to any of their social media pages. You would go looking for the information, but you wouldn't trouble them about it. Realistically, even if your DM was answered, there's a better chance that the person responding would be someone from their team and not them directly. So your favorite artist who has a machine operating for them and with them, that's a person that you wouldn't trouble for information, but your friend who doesn't have a machine and oftentimes they're responsible for creating, hosting, and starring in the event. They're doing all of the logistical things behind the scenes. That's the person you want to now ask a question that could have been answered by you clicking a link. So it's easier for you to write out a question than it is for you to click a link and look at information that's already written out. It's easier for you to record a voice note and send it and wait for a response than it is for you to click a link and read it for yourself. This is the argument that you're presenting? That's not going to fly, friend. We got to start doing better with how we're supporting people. And yes, support is voluntary, but your voluntary support does not entitle you to your friend's additional time or attention. Neither does it obligate them to stop focusing on what's important to accommodate your laziness. And believe it or not, if this commentary offends you, you're still not the victim. We talk about this all the time. The truth does not stop being the truth because it offends you. If you really want to support your friend, put some effort in. If you're going to ask them questions, ask them in advance. If the caption says, link in bio, click the link. Stop asking questions that are already answered. Don't wait until the day of and minutes before to ask them questions that you could have asked and had answered weeks ago. And listen, Mr. or Mrs. Smarty Pants, that's somewhere saying, okay, but what if you ask that question and forgot? We're all human. We all make mistakes. Two things. One, store the event on your calendar, and any corresponding information, you put that in the notes section of that date. This way, everything is together. Any questions you have about the event are with the event. And because you have to go back to the date to enter any updated information, you're constantly reminded of the date and the time, so you don't have to ask the day of. Two, everybody's human and everybody makes mistakes. That flies until you're expecting to be entertained. Y'all saw the Easter verses? You see how many people were in the comments coming for Cece because she was looking at her phone for lyrics? Y'all can't sing the right lyrics looking at the words at karaoke. But you coming for someone who may not remember the words to a song they may not have performed in 15 years? Like how, Sway? You at karaoke singing the same 3 songs every week and you can't get the words or the melody right. So this humanity exemption that should apply for you, it has a very short shelf life, okay? Point is, you as a supporter could go a step further, right? Do some research and comment on a post with information they may have left out. Add something that they may have overlooked. Go to the venue site for information. Go to Yelp. Go to Pinterest. Go wherever. Do some legwork. The National Black Theater in Harlem, right? If the show is there, comment on the post. Keep in mind that parking is limited over there, so you may want to take public transportation, a cab, or a ride share, or make sure that you leave with adequate time so that you're able to find parking. That, my friend, that's support. Instead of texting on the day of and asking, oh, are there tickets at the door? Text them and say, listen, do you need anything before I get there? You could even volunteer to be the point of contact. So the day of the show, the questions are coming to you so your friend can focus on the other things they need to focus on. You would be surprised how helpful it is to lift the slightest burden, the slightest weight from your friend's shoulder. Per my previous comment about the experience that I have when I'm preparing to go on stage, unless you've had the conversation with your friend that last minute notifications and cancellations don't bother them, assume it's an intrusion and don't do it. If you're not going to make it and it's 30 minutes before curtain, they'll figure it out when you're not in the audience. There's just no need to disappoint them before they go on stage. You can always message them after the event and give your whys and becauses. Now, I know I'm speaking a lot about, and I'm speaking a lot from the performing artist perspective, but the same applies for the gallery exhibit or the film screening, the ribbon cutting. For you, it's just a quick question. And even though you feel like it's just a quick question and it'll only take a second to answer, so do the people that are in the space, right? And the difference is the people that are actually in the space, they're asking questions that maybe couldn't have been answered prior to this moment. They might be asking questions about things that have come up right now. They might be trying to troubleshoot unexpected or unforeseen issues. That requires attention. Not your 15 minutes after the show started, you still looking for a parking space question. There are a million types of energies that are moving around in this moment. And if you're truly in a space of support, you should be contributing the most uplifting and edifying energy, not energy to further heighten any negative emotions. If you follow my hub page on Instagram, you probably saw the energy mantra video that went viral. The number of DMs that I received asking me to type out the mantra for them or send them some type of attachment where it was written out was absurd. The first time I heard that mantra, I loved it, right? So I saved the audio. When I finally decided that I was going to do the video, I typed the words out so that I could get it right in my reel. I listened to it repeatedly. I recorded it repeatedly. I wanted it to be just right. Plus, it was giving me all the life to keep affirming everything that was being said there. So I was like, it's a no-brainer. So that aside, I put work into this reel because it was something that I wanted to do. It mattered to me that much. I didn't DM Michael 7 and ask him to write the lyrics out for me so I could post it. And what was even more amazing was that this was before IG was auto-generating captions, or at least that I knew about it. So I typed and placed every caption on that video. So for people to come now DMing me, asking me if I could do more work for them for free, so they could hang it up on their wall, or so they could give it to somebody as a gift, like, none of y'all actually went to my page and saw all the content that I'm already working on. I'm already in the midst of creating and posting daily, 3 times a day. Like, I'm already working double and triple time to make something happen. And that's presenting its own challenges, right? Remember, this is when the gas leak was happening. This is when I was doing childcare. I had a gajillion things going on. At the same time, I'm working doubles at work. What? Are y'all serious right now? And then here come these perfect strangers with requests for me to do more volunteer work, as though the responsibilities I already had in front of me weren't enough. And now get into it. I had my type copy, right? So I took a pic and I even was so courteous as to send it to a few people because, you know, why not? But now here come some of those same people asking me, oh, can you make it clearer? Can you enlarge it? Can you do this? Can you do... Don't be those people, folks. If you don't want to do the work for whatever reason, that's your business. You have a right to that, but don't put extra work on someone else and then try to make them feel like they're the bad guy because they won't prioritize your laziness or endorse your effortlessness. It's unfair, and really it borders on emotional terrorism. Again, I know someone thinks, oh my God, Passion, you're going too far. But consider this. Some of y'all know that your friends are people pleasers. So you know if you make them feel bad, they'll do what you want, even at the risk of endangering themselves. That type of manipulation is abusive and terroristic. So ask yourself why it's more important to you to complicate someone else's life than to stop being lazy. And I know that the answer is power and control, but it's going to take some of y'all, it's going to take y'all some time to get there. I don't have that kind of time today. Just in general, try to remember that what you do, regardless of what it is, it has impact. What to you might be a simple question because you didn't think any further than yourself. It's not a simple ask all the time. If you can't be bothered to see what's in front of you, what makes you think someone wants to go out of their way to re-present to you what they've already presented to you? Your urgency is not an emergency because you feel entitled to being someone's priority. And I'm going to leave it right there because that'll preach. Passion, as you know, your feedback is always welcomed and appreciated. If you have listener letters, you can email them to me at mybrilliantfriendpassion@gmail.com. Of course, it may take me some time because I'm still in the midst of the midst, but I'm going to get to it. Whether you're viewing or you're listening on your preferred platform, like, subscribe, turn on your notifications, comment, and share. Help me help others help themselves. If you would like to be a financial contributor, donations can be made via Podbean, Cash App, PayPal, Linktree, or Zelle. All the links are in the description box below. Every little bit helps. You get your right, Guru is signing off, y'all. Go forth, be great, be filled with bliss, be armed and empowered with knowledge. Remember how people asking you or telling you things at the last minute makes you feel. Remember that your laziness or lackadaisy is not anyone else's crisis. Remember that in the age of information, ignorance is a choice, and your poor choices are still decisions you've made, even and especially if or when you don't get your desired result. Remember that you're not the exception, and that inconvenience is inconvenience regardless of who is imposing it. Remember that your support should not cause additional anxiety and stress. Remember to treat people how you want to be treated. And when you treat people however you feel like, remember to take it in stride when you receive that same treatment from whomever, because what you put out is what you get back, not necessarily what you get back from the person to whom you gave it. Remember that your proximity to greatness does not make you great, and access to information doesn't make you knowledgeable, but in both cases, effort makes all the difference. In all things, be passionate. See you later. If you're looking for some discounts on some items like LaShandra's Essentials, strengthening and nourishing herb infused body oil, or you're looking for some accessory discounts, like on these earrings or some of the other earrings that you see me wearing, definitely check below in the description box. I got some discount codes for you. See you next time.